Hello and welcome back to another video. Today's video is all about everyone's favorite topic, phrasal verbs. And all the phrasal verbs that I will talk about in today's video will have something to do with work. And before we get into today's video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you haven't yet. Maybe give me a thumbs up. And definitely leave a comment in the comments section if you have questions about anything you've seen in this video today. If you are watching this during the quarantine of 2020, just know that every day I am going live with live classes, answering your questions about learning English for about an hour a day. And if you're looking for all of the previous episodes, there's a playlist right above me. And there's a playlist with all of the other videos I've done for phrasal verbs up there somewhere. Unfortunately, there are a lot of phrasal verbs with the word work, but we today are only going to focus on the most popular, the most common. Work through, work up, work on, and work out. And unfortunately, for some of them, they actually have multiple meanings. So let's talk about work through first. The most common way you will hear work through is when you are talking about a problem that needs to be fixed, that needs to be figured out, that needs to be solved. The first example I'm going to use is with my buddy Joey. And remember, anytime that there is something bad happening, I'm going to use my friend Joey because he often gets into trouble. And today, he's having marital problems. He's having problems with his wife, who for today, we'll call Rachel. Joey slept on his couch last night. What do you think Joey should have done to get into trouble with his wife? How about Joey got drunk with his friends last night? So while Joey and Rachel work out their problems, Joey is going to be sleeping on the couch. Work out and work through are sometimes interchangeable. They can be used in the same way. So Joey is sleeping on the couch while he and his wife Rachel work through some problems or work out some problems. Both work. Maybe there's a student in math class and maybe the teacher asks, "Hey, do you mind coming up to the board and working through this problem?" Or they might say, "Do you mind coming to the board and working out this problem?" The next one I'd like to talk about is work up. And unfortunately, this has quite a few different ways you can use it. Sometimes you might hear work up courage. So maybe Joey, well, he's married. Let me use a different person, Mike. Another good American name. Mike needs to work up the courage to ask out the beautiful woman. Now notice the preposition I had in the middle of the sentence, but you could say that sentence with the preposition at the end. And I know my buddy Rafael from Brazil hates ending sentences with prepositions, but I'm going to do it right now. Mike needs to work up the courage to ask the beautiful woman out. And I promise I am going to do a video on prepositions. I've been saying that for a while, but I think the next video I do will be about the prepositions at, on, and what's the other one? In. How could I forget in? Work up can also be used if you're working on a sequence of things. So maybe you're working your way through a book, learning English, and maybe there are chapters. You could say, "Hey, I am going to work up to chapter 3 in this book, and then I will take a break." Maybe it's the days of your work week, and maybe you say, I'm gonna work up until Tuesday, but then I'm going to take Wednesday off. So you see what I did there? Work up until. That's a phrase you'll often hear. Sometimes you hear work up an appetite. So maybe somebody has been working really hard, maybe something physical, and you might hear them say, "Man, I worked really hard today. I worked up an appetite." And working up an appetite means you're really hungry. In the last couple videos, we've talked about temper tantrums and children pitching a fit. If you remember that slang video I did with Jamie, put a link to it right up there. She talked about pitching a fit. And sometimes when a child, maybe even Joey, somebody gets really angry, you might say they have worked up their temper or they're really worked up. So if they're showing a lot of emotion, you could say they are worked up. The next one is work on. And sometimes you will hear this with a problem also. So Joey and Rachel may be seeing a marriage counselor to work on their marriage. And a marriage counselor is what we call someone who helps couples who are married work out their problems. We also use work on when we know we are not going to finish the project. For example, you may say, I'm going to go work on my English for an hour. And of course, even native speakers aren't completely perfect with their English. So that is a project that will never actually be completed. Hopefully you'll always be working on your English to try to become better. So if you tell someone, oh, I need to go work on my homework, you're implying or you're kind of saying in a subtle way that you are not going to finish, but you are going to work on getting to the finish of your homework. It may take another study session. It may take another day in which you work on it. Sometimes parents say work on your attitude to little kids. Sometimes you might hear young lady. That's what we often call young girls when they're being naughty. Young lady, you need to work on that attitude of yours. So work on, fix. Work on your attitude. You need to fix your attitude. And the last one I would like to talk about today. There are others, but these are by far the most common ones you will hear. Work out. Now there is the term workout. It's a noun meaning trying to get your body in better shape, maybe lifting weights, maybe going for a run. But if you're just going for a run, you would not say, I am going to work out. You would say, I'm going to go on a run. Working out, the noun, it's mostly for when you are going to do multiple exercises to get your body into better shape, to get swole, to get buff, just to throw in a couple slang terms there for you. So as we've mentioned before, Rachel and Joey could be working out their problems in their marriage. Sometimes you hear the term working out the kinks. And a kink is when a hose gets all messed up and the water doesn't flow through correctly. It gets a kink. So when you're working out a problem, you might hear we're working out the kinks. I hope after watching this video, you know a little bit more about phrasal verbs with work. I hope that you know that you can work through, work out, and work on problems. And those three terms aren't all that different. But of course, with most things in English, there are a few exceptions and they can be pretty tricky. So thank you so much for all your support. We just hit 1,200 subscribers and nearly 4,000 hours of watch time. And of course, I can't do that alone. It would take me forever. I need you guys. Thank you so much for your support. It's going to do it for today. Hope you learned a little something. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.